It's Bunny Love. Once again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. If you wouldn't mind, please hit the subscribe option. Also, next to that option is a little bell. If you could click on that bell, it would be awesome. Absolutely wonderful, because every time a video is uploaded, you'd be notified immediately. Let's get into a little talk about Mr. Brandon. Brandon, my 600-pound life, Brandon. Great story. I'm really happy about being able to talk about this story. He was a success. Awesome transformation. His story was quite interesting. It kept me glued to the television. I think mainly because of his willingness. I mean, the fact that he wanted to do what he needed to do in order to lose the weight, and he stuck to it, is what, really kept me watching. Sometimes you get these episodes where you can just tell probably within the first 5 or 10 minutes of watching that this person is not going to do it. They claim they want to, and it sounds great in their heads, probably. Like, it looks like a good idea, sounds like a great idea, but then they actually don't go through with it. But, this go round was really something with Brandon. He really tried, and it was good to see. It was good to see. I think the most dramatic part of his episode was the situation with his girlfriend, Taylor. I think that Taylor, she ended up coming around, but she didn't want to move to Texas at first. And that's understandable. She really didn't want to leave her family. And, packing up to leave and move to another state is just really a big deal for some people. People get comfortable and settled in where they are, and they don't want to just uproot their lives. But, Brandon needed that support. He needed that support from his girlfriend. And, eventually he was able to get it. But in the first beginning, right before they moved, she was having a hard time with that. She had a little bit of what you call a tantrum. She had a temper tantrum, slamming doors and really upset. I think that the setup was Brandon was living with his mother, and the girlfriend was staying with the two of them. And they were both kind of helping with caregiving for him when he was at his heaviest. I believe he was 700 plus pounds, close to 800. And the mother did a lot of cooking. The girlfriend helped to care for him in other ways. They were all living under the same roof. She just didn't want to be, that far away from her family. And that's understandable. That's understandable. But Brandon really needed the help. I don't think the mother was in a position to go with him to Houston. I don't think she was in a position to move with him to Houston. So he, and his mother, I think it looked like his mother was all that he had other than the girlfriend. So the girlfriend was the last option to help him out. And she had a really hard time with that. But as the episode progressed, she came around, and she was very supportive. When they met up with Dr. Now, and he, of course, like every episode, all cast members, all patients, put Brandon on a 1,200 calorie per day diet. And he was really doing his best to stick to it. And the girlfriend was doing the diet right along with him. So I guess it just took for her to actually get over the whole big ordeal of moving. And once she finally went on ahead and took that leap and moved to Houston with him, she jumped right along in there with him and became very supportive, and even started to do the diet herself, because she was a bit overweight as well. Not as big as him, but she was overweight. So they were both doing the diet together, which is great. It was just a wonderful transformation. If you see him now, it's like, wow, he looks like a whole totally different person. Totally different. It looks like he lost about 3 people, which, as much weight as he lost, he did. You'd have to say it was about 3 people three people worth of weight that he lost, and he really looks great. Really looks great. I do follow him on Facebook. He's usually on Facebook putting up really good, inspirational, motivating type posts. He gives a lot of credit to Dr. Now. Dr. Now was very pleased with him, and that's another thing too I wanted to talk about. Dr. Now does not. I've heard people talk about how hard he is on some of the cast members, and he's not fair, and he pushes them too hard and things of that nature. But you have to really, if you're one that watches the show, you have to really pay attention. Dr. Now only gives a hard time to those that aren't trying. If they're trying and they're willing to lose the weight, he gives them all kinds of praise, and he's very much proud of them. He makes that known. He's only like that with bullshitters, which I don't blame him. Who wants to deal with bullshit in their lives? The doctor especially. I mean, you're wasting his time. If you're not going to stick to the diet and do what you have to do in order to transform your life, he could be seeing other patients. He doesn't have to waste his time with a patient that doesn't care or isn't trying, or it's just wants to play games. And he makes that known very much. He makes that known that he's just not with the games. I mean, he's an older guy. He's an old man. He's I think he's in his 70s, and at that age, you just don't have tolerance for a lot of bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm still working, and I want to work with people that are willing to change. That's what makes my job fulfilling. I mean, and he said that in so many words, So working with people that are not going to do what they're supposed to do in terms of the diet and just wasting his time. I mean, there are cast members that have come on the show that have wasted a whole year, up to a year and a half, going back and forth with Dr. Now, and some of them haven't even lost 20 or 30 pounds in that time. Penny. You remember cast member Penny? Perfect example. I'm actually going to do a review on her as well. Perfect example of a person that didn't lose any weight. She just expected for the surgery to do all the work. The surgery doesn't do all the work. It's just a tool to help you. It helps suppress your appetite some physically. But the emotional part, it gets rid of the physical drive to eat. But the emotional part, the mental part is still there. That's the part you have to work on yourself. It just helps with suppressing your appetite. That's it. But you still have to work hard. And there's cast members like cast member Penny that just didn't do anything. Wasted all the doctor's time. And he could have been dealing with someone else, But Brandon was a very good story. Very, very good story. If you look him up on Facebook, just type in Brandon, My 600-Pound Life. Really, really, really good success story. I mean, it was just amazing at how well he did. Awesome story. I'm very proud of him. The doctor, Dr. Now, was very proud. His girlfriend was happy for him. I think the one thing, too, about this episode that was very interesting was the relationship between him and his dad. So Dr. Now sends Brandon to go see Lola. And Lola, of course, she's great. I love Lola. She's so wonderful with helping these clients and these patients get down to the bottom of what's really hurting them and what's really stopping them from progressing. He goes to see Lola, and he explains to Lola about the situation between him and his dad, how they used to be really, really close at one time, and then now they just don't have a relationship. And he said a lot of the reason why he just, grew distant where his father was concerned was because of what his father did. Some infidelity or some things like that in the marriage between him and his mom. And Brandon was actually holding that resentment because he felt like that's what broke up the family. And Lola just gave him some really truthful advice. She just told him, she said, look, that's really kind of like between your mom and dad. Just because your mom and dad are having issues within their marriage doesn't mean that he loves you any less. So a lot of that issue between him and his dad really was more of Brandon, it seems like, than the dad. We don't know for sure. We're just going by what we see on TV. But, it happens. When you have parents that have broken up, you end up feeling some type of resentment and hard feelings toward who you feel as though was at fault. And you take it out on them opposed to, you take it out on that person, and you don't, you're basically letting your relationship just crumble because of something that went on between your parents. And that's not what should be. And I agree with Lola. I think that his father's feelings probably were always there and were always the same. But their relationship more or less became strained because Brandon chose for it to be. He wanted to be distant from his dad because of the breakup. And I'm sure that made him very unhappy that he didn't have his family all together at one time, and he was blaming his father. But that still, the situation between mom and dad had nothing to do with him. I'm sure his dad loved him no less. And I think that also contributed to his weight gain. I think that contributed to his overeating and feeling that food is a comfort for him to deal with the breakup of his parents. Although he was gaining weight prior to their breakup, he had been gaining weight ever since he was a young child. But leading up to that time. But afterwards, I think it got worse. Once his parents, his family broke up, I think it got worse. So, it was just really good to see him go in for therapy. Lola helped him out a lot. And Lola suggested that he find a way to reach out to his dad and call his dad. He did do that. He looked him up on the internet. He tried reaching out. I believe he said he didn't get an answer or something like that. He couldn't reach him. At least he tried. Trying is all you can do. If no results come out of trying, then it just is what it is. But yeah, it looks like Mr. Brandon is definitely on his way to great things. He's lost all this weight. He seems to have a very supportive girlfriend by his side. Taylor seems like a very nice young lady, very sweet young lady from the show. And I just wish him the best. I wish all the cast members the best. Even the ones that felt like I gave them a pretty rough review or thoughts or input. It's never too late. It's never too late to get yourselves together and lose the weight. It's never too late to, totally change your life. It's never too late. I think the only frustrating part for us is that we're looking forward to true transformations, and we see 2 hours of just a waste, But even with those that haven't done the best on the show, and wasted 2 hours of our time. Even with that, you still have a chance to start over and do it again. So, wishing Brandon all the best. Good luck to you. And please, follow me on all social media, everyone. As always, my outro will have that information. I'm on other social media platforms. Please, like, subscribe, share the video if you would like. Enjoy the rest of your day. Got a few more videos to knock out, so I'm going to be busy. Take care, you guys.